G'day guys, Fitcho here and welcome back to my F1 2018 Ferrari Career Mode. We're here for round number 6 and the crown jewel of Formula 1, the Monaco Grand Prix, the most prestigious race on the calendar around the streets of this very, very rich principality, possibly the hardest race of the entire year, especially for overtaking and especially for what we are doing in this series where we are starting last in every race. Monaco is a track I'm usually very, very quick at. It's one of my favorite tracks, especially when I get into a rhythm, and in past career modes I've always been quick here. I'm always in contention to win at Monaco, but when you put me at the back of the field and just how difficult it is to overtake around this circuit, this is going to be a really, really interesting race to see how it plays out, see how well I can pick through this field, because I'm sure I'm going to have pace here. I always do at Monaco, but am I going to be able to make my way through the field quickly enough on a track that is so notoriously hard to pass at? I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. So the strategy for today's Grand Prix, we are switching things up and we're going to be starting on the super soft tyre and then going to the ultra softs later on in the Grand Prix. So going long in that first stint of the race, hopefully that does help us a little bit. It'll get us out of traffic early on once everyone else pits. Then we can sort of get our head down and hopefully make a bit of distance on some of those guys, and then come out ahead of them when we do so. Going for a bit of an overcut on some of the midfield guys hopefully is what I'm trying to do with this strategy. Plus it's what the game did also suggest to me, and the session is going to be nice and sunny for the whole time, so no adverse weather going to be chucked into this race. And also I just wanted to point out, at the front of the grid, the top 4 cars were separated by less than a tenth of a second. Lewis Hamilton took pole, Ricciardo second, Verstappen third, and Vettel in 4th place. And if Daniel Ricciardo does manage to win this Grand Prix, he'll be the 6th different winner in 6 races, which will be absolutely bonkers. But before we do get into this race, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe with notifications on so you know when every episode of this series does go live. Without further ado, let's head to the most prestigious race on the Formula 1 calendar. Here we go. I'm quite nervous about this opening lap because it's so important for us to get through here with the car in one piece, no damage whatsoever, and it's lights out and away we go. The Monaco Grand Prix is underway and Sirotkin is going to storming start off the grid as we head down towards Sandoval up the inside of Stroll, a bit more aggressive than I did plan to be on the opening lap, but that position was there for the taking, and I want to take all the positions that I can get as easy as I can here at Monaco. But Stroll coming back up our inside as we head through Massenet. A bit of contact. I gave him plenty of space, I thought, as we get the inside line into Casino Square, and I'm actually going to dive. Oh my lord, what a Stroll's gone around the outside of Sirotkin and Ericsson there, as now we are now back into 19th place on the outside of Stroll. We let him get back in front of us, so we don't want to make it too wide here, as Sirotkin then dropped in behind us. But that was ultra aggressive from Stroll. I genuinely thought he was going to pile drive his teammate and they're going to take Ericsson off into the runoff area with them, but somehow he kept that clean, and unfortunately we've only made up 1 place. I was hoping to get past both the Williams on this opening lap, because the Williams are still the slowest car in this field and we just want to dispatch of them as quickly as we can. I thought the first lap was a good opportunity for that. A bit slow from Stroll, an aggressive move up the inside of the swimming pool chicane. We muscle him out of the way and we do get that move done. So we've got past both the Williams on the opening lap, which was my main objective. I didn't want to make up, I wasn't too fussed about how many positions I made up, as long as I got past the 2 Williams. That's all I wanted to do on this first lap, and keep the car in one piece. That was the other main focus, and we've achieved both of those things, so we're off to a good start to this Monaco Grand Prix. Up 2 places on lap number 1. It's not a huge deal compared to some of the opening laps we have had, but around the streets of Monaco, I'm definitely happy with that. And now we set our sights on Marcus Ericsson in the Sauber. Right onto the back of Marcus Ericsson at the end of lap number 2 is now DRS has been enabled. Unfortunately, we didn't have the advantage of the DRS flap down the pit straight, as now we head up Beau Rivage. We got a little bit of a slide coming out of Sandoval, and I was hoping to try something up into Massenet, but we weren't quite close enough through Casino Square. Can I launch one up the inside of Mirabeau? No, I can't. Not quite close enough, and Ericsson jinked the inside, thinking I was trying something aggressive there, which I considered, but I thought better of it. Now this is where we have to stay really, really close to him, down into Portier. You can see just the nature of the hairpin and the way everyone backs up through there. It all stretches out coming back out of there, and you just can't quite stay close enough through Portier to get a run through the tunnel and down into the Nouvelle chicane, unfortunately, but now this is what we're going to try and do. Try to line him up as we head up to back through the swimming pool section. Try the same move that we executed on Lance Stroll. Can we try this? Aggressive up the inside. The elbows are coming out. We've pushed him over the chicane, and we're going to take that position. And it was a bit of a clumsy move, aggressive, but that's what we're going to have to do here at Monaco. That's how you have to race at Monaco. The elbows have to come out so much just to make an overtake, and we're going to see a lot of that sort of stuff. Wheel-to-wheel banging as we try aggressive moves through chicanes. Right, our teammate is in the pits, and it's only lap number 5. This is very early for the Hypersoft runners to be coming into the pits. I do reckon we're going to have to see where they actually come out relative to us as we're right on the back of Carlos Sainz. DRS flap open, but not quite close enough as we head down into Sandoval. Careful on the brakes, try to get a nice run out of here, and I think we did pop out ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, who is right behind us now, and he has made a pit stop, and he's come onto a fresh set of the ultra soft tires, so I don't think he's going to be going to the end from here, so he might be going for a 2-stop, having been on those hypers. Through Portier we go, trying to keep as close as we possibly can to Carlos Sainz, who have actually kept relatively close in overtake mode, but still, it's just not a long enough straight down into the Nouvelle chicane to really make a move on the Spaniard, as now we head into the part of the section where I am quite quick. We get a whole lot of understeer into Tabac, and that's thrown our chance of a move into the Singapore, not the Singapore, that's where we were racing last weekend. In real life, the swimming pool section, there we go, and in Rascas we go. Carlos Sainz is going to peel off into the pit lane. I was about to say, how many of these guys are going to be pitting, because that seems like all the Hypersoft guys are doing. Of course, I'm actually on the super soft tires, the hardest compound out of the 3. I almost forgot. I think in the what I said at the start of the race, in my little intro, I forgot the Hypersoft tires even actually existed. So a lot of cars could be going for a 2-stop strategy as we are catching up to the back of Brendan Hartley, and we're almost in a Red Bull sandwich here with a Toro Rosso in front and an actual Red Bull racing car behind us. We are right on the back of Brendan Hartley as we head through to back. We're going to be close enough to send it up the inside of the swimming pool chicane. It's getting a bit clumsy. He goes across the runoff area, and surely he has to give me that position. He can't go across the runoff area like that and keep fighting us, and we do get that position as we had the inside line into Rascas, and Ricciardo hasn't been able to follow us through, so now we have a car between us and Ricciardo, and I feel like we both have 1 stop left in this Grand Prix, so that could be pivotal. It's now about track position yet again. I think we've played ourselves into this race by trying to do 1 less stop than everyone else at the front. Right, coming up to the end of lap number 10 of this Monaco Grand Prix, pretty much 1/4 distance of this race, and we are catching up to the front 4 pack, and we have Pierre Gasly up first in that train. And looking back, Daniel Ricciardo is still bottled up behind Brendan Hartley. They haven't used any sort of intra-team team orders there at Red Bull to swap those two around, knowing their different strategies, which is working well for us, because that means Ricciardo is about 4 seconds behind us right now, whereas we are right on the back of this battle for the lead. That said, all these guys haven't stopped. We're out of sync with everyone else on different pit strategies. We are now right on the back of Pierre Gasly. We have DRS and all, but he has DRS off Charles Leclerc ahead of him. We just can't do anything down into Sandoval. We just have to be patient here. I think we're going to have to wait until we do get back around to the swimming pool section and try that same move again. I feel like that's where we get the closest to the AI. Right, Esteban Ocon apparently has an issue, and I do believe he is the leader of this Grand Prix, but right on the back of Pierre Gasly. We look up the inside, but I backed out of that as much as I could. I didn't feel like I was far enough up the inside for him to give me room. We do both survive, but we do lose a little bit of time from that attempted move. It is so difficult to overtake here at Monaco. DRS, but he's now lost DRS. We've dropped him back out of range from Charles Leclerc from that move, and that has actually worked in our favor quite nicely. We lost time from an attempted move, which then allowed him to drop out of DRS, so we had an advantage down the straight, and we do finally pick off Pierre Gasly, and now we have Charles Leclerc up next, and he is currently sitting in a podium position at his home Grand Prix, and that is Esteban Ocon in the lead of the race. You can see he's backing up everyone. Got Ocon, Van Dorn, Leclerc, and then myself, but Ocon has an issue backing everyone up here, as now through Portier we go. We are starting to run out of ERS battery just a little bit. I've been running an overtake quite a lot, but it's lasted a lot longer than I thought it might have done in such a high mode. As down into the Nouvelle chicane we go, right on the back of Charles Leclerc. What can we do as we head through to back on the power is in to the swimming pool section we go, and we send it up his inside through the swimming pool chicane. We try to give him space, a little bit of contact, and we get that move done. We got nice and far up his inside there into the swimming pool chicane. It actually surprised me just how good our run was there. As now Stoffel Van Dorn is up next down the pit straight with DRS, not quite close enough as he's getting DRS off Esteban Ocon right in front of him. As now we head up Beau Rivage up towards Massenet. Can I try it up the inside into Massenet? Yes, I can. The McLaren really doesn't want to give me space, but he ends up giving me just enough, like literally just enough. I was pretty much rubbing the wall and his tire at the same time. As now we are up into second place, and now Esteban Ocon is the one car left on the hit list, and apparently he does have issues. I know I keep saying that, but he has been quite slow. He was backing those guys up, and now how easy is it going to be to try to get past Esteban? Here we go. Into the tunnel we go in the slipstream overtake mode on the ERS. We're going to send it up the inside into the Nouvelle chicane, and we try to squeeze him out there. We get that move just about done on Esteban Ocon. I didn't give him much room, to be fair, through the chicane, but when you're overtaking at Monaco, if you get up the inside, that's your corner. You take the racing line. You don't leave them space on the outside. There just isn't enough space at Monaco to do that. But we are up into the lead now on the end of lap number 14, and we have a while left on these super softs, and this is the point I wanted to get to in the race, because now we have clear track. We can get our head down and we can set some fast lap times. Right, so I just paused it and had a look at the current standings in this race, and it looks like Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton are both still bottled up behind Brendan Hartley. Then Marcus Ericsson is just behind them on the road, and you have Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, and Valtteri Bottas all bottled up behind him. So this is working really, really well. They are struggling to make a way through the field on their fresher tyres, where we have done exactly that. We've made our way all the way to the front, passing multiple cars, and this is working into our hands very, very nice. And I think those guys might still have another stop to make. They started on hypers and then went to ultra soft now, where I'm just going super softs onto ultra softs, and that is fairly easily doable, but I'm not sure the one stop with the hypers is necessarily doable based on the graphs I saw at the start of this race. So we could be in a very comfortable position here at Monaco, but I don't want to get too comfortable. You can never get too comfortable at Monaco with the wall so close. Things can change in an instant around here. Right, so most of the cars behind us have pitted. Brendan Hartley is the only one remaining, and he is still in front of Daniel Ricciardo. We now have, I think it was about 15 seconds or something ridiculous over those guys. 14 seconds to be exact, as Hartley now does peel off into the pit lane. So now we've got Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton chasing us down. We've built out such a huge gap, 14 seconds, while they were getting stuck in behind Hartley when we pushed our way through the field. This is really working into our favor right now. Right, Jeff's just come onto the radio to say we are boxing this lap, and I've just noticed Ricciardo has disappeared from the top left of screen. Hamilton is now the car behind us, then Verstappen. Well, actually make that Vettel and Bottas. So I'd say all those guys are going in for their second stop of the race right now. I'm guessing they're putting supers on, I would assume. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking I might just go another lap or two on these tyres. They are becoming a bit difficult to drive on, and I'm just worried if it's only just over half race distance. I don't want the ultra softs I'm going to be on feeling like this at the end of the race, especially if we are getting pressure from behind. So we'll just go a little bit longer now, and we should feel the benefits in that final stint towards the end of it. Right, here we go, end of lap number 23, and we are coming into the pit lane. Just careful in, because it comes up so quickly there. I just want to be careful I didn't accidentally speed. And into the box we go, onto a set of ultra soft tyres. Go a little bit softer than those supers. We'll have a nice amount of grip here and it's going to be interesting to see where we do re-emerge. It looks like Vettel and Bottas are coming into the pits right now, and there is a car, Magnussen, we get along well with him, coming down the pit straight, and he just gets past us. Here's the one car in front of us. We head down through this pit exit. Careful there, because I don't really know where it goes, and I don't want to get any sort of penalty for crossing that yellow line. And Ricciardo has gone onto a set of the super softs, and he is now about 9 seconds behind us. So we reeled in a few seconds with an undercut, but now we have the fresher, softer compound tyre, and we should be able to pull away from him as long as Magnussen doesn't hold us up too much. And I think we are in a very comfortable position. Well, it's only 4.3, I should say, back to Ricciardo now. He's really gained as we didn't get the best exit out of the pit lane. I was about to say we're in a really comfortable position for this Monaco Grand Prix with Ricciardo that close. It's maybe not as comfortable as I'd like, but I still think with the tyre advantage we have, it is a comfortable position. But that said, it's never fully comfortable at Monaco with the walls so bloody close. It's so easy, one little slip up and you're out. Look at 1988 with Ayrton Senna, one of the greatest drivers Formula 1 has ever seen, the greatest driver arguably around this circuit as well, and he managed to throw that away. Right, also Magnussen dives into the pit lane at the end of our outlaps. That works really nicely for us. Back into the lead of this Grand Prix. 3 seconds back to Daniel Ricciardo as now. We've just got to find a groove on it. These tyres, work out how much more we can push compared to the super softs, work out where the grip is, and just fucking send it. So Bottas just put in the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, and I saw that as a challenge, and there we go. That is my response. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and the gap is now out almost 5 seconds back to Ricciardo. We are pulling a gap here, which is exactly what we want to do. Make the most of these fresher, softer compound tyres. Right, so it sounds like we have some sort of sensor issue. Jeff's just saying that. I hope it's just a sensor issue and nothing worse goes kaboom, goes kaput. We'll have to wait and see, but I guess we'll just have to keep our head down and keep pushing as we've now got 10 laps to go of this Monaco Grand Prix. We're still sitting in first place, managing that gap at just over 5 seconds back to our compatriot Daniel Ricciardo. Right, we have 5 laps left of this Monaco Grand Prix, and the gap back to Ricciardo is sitting at 7 seconds now. I've been slowly pulling that out. We found a really nice rhythm around this circuit, and this really is a rhythm circuit. However, I feel our rhythm could be slightly disturbed in these final few laps. You might have just seen up ahead, that is our first lot of back markers that we are coming up on. It looks like there's about 5 of them with a Williams at either end of the train. It looks like Lance Stroll is up first. Hopefully these guys get well and truly out of our way and we keep this car in one piece. Only 5 laps to go. We'll put together such a good race so far. I will lose my shit if it gets ruined by a back marker here. Right, down into Raskas, right on the back of Lance Stroll now. So much so we are going to get DRS off the Canadian. Is he going to get out of my way? I'm in his slipstream, DRS and all as we head down towards Sandoval. There we go, he finally gets out of our way and goes wide at the corner. I thought he was going to lift off a little bit more down the straight, but no, he definitely didn't want to do that, and that is one back marker dispatched of. Up next, it looks like Carlos Sainz, who has really not made ground after taking a grid penalty here. Right, out of the Nouvelle Chicane. Come on, oh, yes, Carlos, good job. I was a bit worried because I know in past games the AI have done that. Ended up taking you out at to back, trying to let you through there. But he does a nice job, brakes well before the apex and doesn't just leave the car parked there. On the apex of to back, possibly the worst place to leave a car. And Fernando is staying on the racing line through Anthony Nodes. Now into his slipstream we go down the pit straight. Is he going to get out of our way down in to Sandoval? Yes, he does just about do it. And we get past the McLaren. Now we've got Hulkenberg. And then I think it's Sorokin. And then I think we're through the back markers, which is exactly what we want. We don't want to spend too much time getting through these guys. We just want to get through them as quick as we can and make sure we don't pick up any damage most of all. What is Nico Hulkenberg doing? He's parking it in the Nouvelle Chicane. He hit the wall there, trying to let me through, and he has really hurt his own race there as I've gone a bit wide into to back. Just trying to gather my thoughts after what I just saw with that Renault. It looks like he is still parked there in the Nouvelle Chicane at this late phase of the race. And now He does get going and back to green flag conditions. And now, only one more back marker to get past and only 2 laps to go. Oh, what are you doing, Sorokin? What are you doing? What? He's parking the bus here. Is now down into the hairpin, and now he's just going so slow there on the apex. We're not losing too much time to Ricciardo. I'm not too worried about them with the gap we have and the extra speed we have had. And there he goes. He pulls off out of Portier, and now only a lap and a half left of this Monaco Grand Prix. Here we go, starting lap 39 of 39, the final lap of this Monaco Grand Prix, and the gap back to Ricciardo is still at over 5 seconds, as now he is going to have to pick his way through those back markers, and he's going to have to do it to try to protect himself from Hamilton, who is still right there battling him over second place. We've made it through the swimming pool section. That was the area I was most worried about. That's to give the barriers extra wide space through these last 2 corners. There is no need to rush now. Onto the final straight up towards the line to win the Monaco Grand Prix, the most prestigious race in Formula 1. And we are the first repeat winner of the season, Azerbaijan, and now here in Monaco. We're going to extend our championship lead even further. I'm not too fussed about that. We've won the most important and prestigious race on the calendar, and the one I wanted to win most, the Monaco Grand Prix.
The key here was just the quality of the racecraft, you know? I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I'm sure we have a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it's fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport at the end of the day, but it's always really gratifying to see close-fought battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So there we go, the second 1-2 finish for the 2 Australian drivers on the grid, and the first repeat winner of the season. Of course, the same top 2 in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, although a lot closer in that race. And most importantly, we have won the Monaco Grand Prix, which is the race everyone wants to win the most. It's the crown jewel of Formula 1, and we have gone and done it. Ended up being 7 seconds back to Ricciardo as he started to get caught in that traffic, but he did hold on to that second place in front of Lewis Hamilton, and Max Verstappen just off the podium, Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon actually jumping our teammate Sebastian Vettel by going for that one-stop strategy. Vettel only getting 7th place. Then the 2 Toro Rossos, Hartley and Gasly, a very good showing for them with that Honda power unit in the back. Then Kevin Magnussen rounding out the points, and somehow we got through an entire Monaco Grand Prix without a single safety car, not even a virtual safety car, and every car finishing the Grand Prix. That is absolutely bonkers. Now, if we jump across to the championship standings, we have extended our lead even further now to 44 points over Valtteri Bottas. Verstappen sitting there in 3rd place, a further 3 points back. Vettel 1 point behind Verstappen in 4th. Lewis Hamilton gaining some ground back. Of course, he had a DNF in the Chinese Grand Prix. Only 3 points on Vettel now. And then Ricciardo on 62, a further 6 points back. Esteban Ocon seeing their best of the rest. Then Hülkenberg, Leclerc, and Perez round out the top 10. But we have definitely pulled away. We've been on the podium in every race so far, whereas everyone else has had some sort of misfortune in every round of the championship, and our consistency is what got us into this position, and the fact we have the most wins of the season. I guess you can look at that too. If we do jump across into the constructors, our form is represented with Ferrari on top by 47 points over Mercedes, and it is only a 9-point gap between Mercedes and Red Bull, who of course made some big strides in the development. Force India the best of the rest. So that is another trophy to add to the trophy cabinet. 6 races, 6 trophies, 6 podium finishes, including 3 second places in the first 3 rounds of the season. And we finally broke through and won in Baku. Stepped down to 3rd place in Spain, but still on the podium. And then we win the crown jewel of Formula 1, the Monaco Grand Prix. Next time out, we head to Canada, a circuit I do quite like, and hopefully we can keep up this run of podiums. There are a few overtaking opportunities at Canada, and hopefully we can slide through the field really well there and keep this run going. I want to see how long I can keep this podium run going, and this podium run is really, really helping us. It's so consistent. Everyone else has had race races where they have faltered. Like, looking at that straight away, Bottas, Azerbaijan in 11th, Verstappen 13th in Australia, Vettel 12th in Azerbaijan, DNF for Hamilton in China, and DNF for the opening race for Ricciardo. Everyone else has had issues. We're just being super consistent. Now we have almost a 40-point lead in the championship, and that's going to be our strategy going through the rest of the season. Just keep that consistency up and hopefully keep scoring podiums. That is going to do it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you do leave a like on it. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe with notifications on so you know when every episode of this series does go live. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.